I want to introduce you to something called the performance pyramid. Okay, and the top of the pyramid, I just want everyone to draw a triangle. So draw a triangle and put it at the top of the page, allow room at the bottom, so draw a triangle on the top of the page. And once everyone's got that, we're going to start. I'm talking about, physical activation.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, that brings us to the session this evening. We have Tim Thomas in the room, and his topic tonight is the performance blueprint. And that is the hidden formula for daily high performance. Well, actually, that's the title that I gave tonight's topic. So hopefully it's sort of in line with what Tim's going to be talking about. I think it is. But for those that don't know Tim, he is a business owner. He's a dad of two. He's a former Special Forces Commando, and he is passionate about your sleep. So he's a breathwork teacher. He's a burnout buster for high performers, and he does help teams and business owners fix the invisible problem that often is draining their performance. Often that's exhaustion, that feeling of lack of energy. He's a creator of Breathwork in Bed. So that's an app that you can get on the App Store. And he has saved lives in the veteran space. He's raised over $1 million in mental health research. And he really is sort of helping, not only the armed forces community, but now the business community as well too. So let's put your hands together. Welcome to the stage for the final time this year, Tim Thomas.
Good evening, and thank you so much, Nick. What a great welcome. And for anyone who I've invited here tonight especially, please come back on camera. I'd love to see your faces. I really get a lot from seeing people and interacting with them. So good to see everyone. And if I was to say in a sentence what I do, I create performance through peace. There's quite often a bit of a bridge between performance-based people and, what performance-based people would call hippies. And what you're going to get tonight is a sense of peace that allows you to tap into your performance, but more than that, tap into your uniqueness, your particular brand of gift that you want to bring to the world. Because when I look at people, I don't just see people, I see there are seeds of uniqueness, seeds of greatness. And my vision is for people to go through life and have those seeds flourish, whatever they look like, because when they come out, you really don't know what they're going to be. But if you can create the right environments, that flourishing happens very naturally, and it's wonderful to be around that unfolding. So, question for everybody. If you had a car and it never ran out of fuel, where would you go? Anywhere, right? So tonight, I'm not just here to give you biohacks. I'm here to share a vision I have, because I can't do what you do, but if I can create an environment where those seeds of uniqueness and greatness grow, then I see that as a vicarious win. Now, I'm going to do, Nick's already done an introduction. He's a bit of a spoiler, that one, but let me just share with you my screen. So like Nick said, I've got a background in special forces, but before that, I was a professional fighter. In the 90s, when it wasn't really mixed martial arts, it was no rules fighting. And it was kind of in biker bars and underground bars. And I'm happy to say, if we take on what we learn tonight, you'll be able to extend the longevity of your performance of whatever that is. So I'm quite proud to show you this next photo. Can everyone see myself there? That's my son in the middle. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see him. And if you look closely in the gallery, you might see Adam. Adam's in the gallery too somewhere. He just gives a thumbs up there, Adam. Nice work. And I always give Adam a bit of grief. Can you see what Adam's doing with his toe? There, he's up on his toes. He's trying to get in the. That's a personal joke. Um, as a 52-year-old, one of my proudest achievements is being able to throw down with my 21-year-old son. The distance between him and me is getting scarily close. And I'm trying to skip to the next screen. Hang on. Here we go. And there's my son looking very proud. He gave his old man his very first shiner. You can't really see it, but my eye is swollen there and it went black as the next day. And I love dogs. That's the picture of the back of my car. I'm kind of the neighborhood dog guy. That's me when I was serving in the Australian Special Forces Commandos, although that's when I'm on deployment in the UK. So that's a UK para rig, amphibious power rig. So we're about to jump out of a plane over the ocean. Here I am in Afghanistan. And a lot of people ask me about Afghanistan. Fun fact about me, I'm actually dyslexic, struggled to read and write, but I actually wrote a book, Fight, Flight, Feel. And for those of you who stick around to the end, that is one of the lucky door prizes. So if you stick around, good things are happening. Now, when I got out of the Special Forces, I went through PTSD, and at the bottom of the hill, I realized there was a system in place that, from my perspective, made more money if I stayed sick. And I thought if I ever get to a position of empowerment, I want to be able to give people tools that are practical and can be used straight away. So if you look at the screen now, that's a program I was running through Mates for Mates. If some of you have heard that, just give us a wave. Mates for Mates is a soldiers program, and I'd run programs through there. Like Nick said, I've raised an amount for charity. Our initial goal was $50,000. But you can see here that I'm handing a check over for $126,000. That was a team effort. And as of the count now, we've raised $1.3 million for Gallipoli Medical Research, which does research into cancer, respiratory diseases, veterans with PTSD, as well as here, this is the QBI, Queensland Brain Institute. And again, I feel very passionate about that because your seeds of destiny, as I see them, actually live inside your brain. And looking after your brain is super important. If you've ever had a family member with dementia, I care for my father with dementia, they become very different people once this thing is injured. So that is me. I don't think there's any more photos. Yes, this is, and I love creating spaces where people can tap into the deepest part of them and be in a place of peace. And I'll explain why that is. So, does everyone have access to a pen and paper nearby? Yep. Okay, so a pen and paper is going to be handy right now because I want to introduce you to something called the performance pyramid. Okay, and the top of the pyramid, I just want everyone to draw a triangle. So draw a triangle and put it at the top of the page, allow room at the bottom, so draw a triangle on the top of the page. And once everyone's got that, we're going to start. I'm talking about, physical activation. I want everyone, if they can hear me, to show me their hands. Show me their hands to the screen. Yep. Okay, once you got that, I want you to put them together and rub them. Rub them like that. Rub, 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 rub. Really fast, really fast. And then with your warm hands, put them on your eyes and just do circles. Big circles on your eyes. Very good. And if you can hear me, put your fingertips in your eye sockets and massage your fingertips in your eye sockets. And then put your fingers either side of your ears and just massage your ears. Massaging your ears, circle, circle, circle. That should feel really good. Now put your fingers in the base of your skull, massaging the base of your skull, and then fingertips through the hair, just massaging the top of your head. Just shake your fingers, shake your fingers, shake, shake, shake. Feel that energy ball. Put your fingers together and feel that energy ball. Push on it. That's your positive energy. Nice work. And then just send it off with good intentions. All right. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing a form of that every 10 minutes. Now, a little hack I'm going to give everybody right now that makes a massive difference to productivity. When I do corporate makeovers, I don't do anything particularly special, but I have everybody on a 20 to 30-minute timer through the office. And every 20 or 30 minutes, they stand up and they do some form of physical movement because sedentary behavior is the new smoking. So whenever you're working at your desk, especially if you're a business owner and you're spending time sitting down, you don't need to get a timer like that. You can set it on your phone. I just find it helpful because you can see this. So every 30 minutes, you get up, you move around. And what we found is people taking, 4 to 6 minutes an hour to move, their productivity kept going, as opposed to getting to that afternoon slump and then they needed a coffee. So, part of what we're going to discover this evening is just how amazing and energized our body is, but we tend to block it up. And sitting down is one of those little blocking activities that we can do. So every 10 minutes, I'm going to do something to keep the energy in the room so this can be uptaken as easy as possible. So everyone's got their pyramid, and I want to set your 2026 up powerfully. So I want you to write in that triangle 3 things that, if achieved in 2026, would transform their business if they nailed them consistently. So 3 things, if achieved in 2026, that would transform their business. Take as much time as you need. This is actually super important. And as you're writing them down, put next to each one a dollar value. How much value that would add in dollar values that would be for you. Doesn't have to be exact. This is an example of the vision that you have for 2026. And next to your dollar values in the 3 different areas, what are you seeing happening in your life and business that tell you you're being successful in this? So you've got one of them, you've got a dollar value, but you're also seeing things in your life that tells you you've been successful. What are you seeing? I want you to go forward to that moment in time and look around. What are you seeing? Put down what you're feeling too. What are you seeing and what are you feeling when you achieve each of those 3 things? So we're writing down the 3 things, if achieved in 2026, would transform their business if we nailed them consistently. We're putting a dollar value next to them, but we're also putting down what we're seeing happening, but also what we're feeling. So we're creating a very vivid picture of something that we want to have happen. In this moment, we are literally creating 2026. And if you can put vivid feelings and things that you want to see happen, that really gives us a greater impact on anything between us and what we want to achieve. So as we're finishing those, is there anyone here that would like to share one thing they want to achieve in their business in 2026? Just sort of stick your hand up, or Nick, I'm assuming everyone can take themselves off mute. So if you feel up for it, just take yourself off mute and share what is there for you, the dollar value, and also what you're seeing and feeling.
Enjoying the small wins.
Got it? And what are you seeing when you're enjoying the small wins, Adam?
Gratitude.
Gratitude's a feeling. I love it. Super powerful. And what are you seeing around you that tells you, and that gives you the gratitude and tells you you've been successful?
I suppose slowing things down, not going 100 miles an hour, so enjoying the slow pace. Slower.
Interesting. You said a mouthful there. How often do we achieve things and we're so busy doing it, we don't actually enjoy it? And it's how many times is that said and how many actual people apply that? Okay, well said, Adam. Is there anything else, mate?
No, that's all good for now. Peace up, A-Town.
Cheers, brother. Rory, did I see a hand up there for a second?
Yes, you may need to take me through the questions again because I may not have followed the instructions exactly, which is the story of my life. So the three things I wrote down to transform my business was consistent sleep window, daily exercise, and zero screen addiction. And when I put a dollar value against that, I sort of imagine it's an extra $1,000 a week just to sleep consistently. Daily exercise is like difficult to put a dollar on it, probably twice as much. My vitality, my energy, my sense of self, and the zero screen addiction is probably $500,000 a year. Easily. I'm not going to explain to anybody here why I have that going on, but I've been facing some challenges. So, and then the questions were, I'm happy with your follow-up questions. What would I see? What would I feel? What was it?
Yeah, so let's say what you've named has already happened. What would you see in your life happening to tell you that you were successful, that you were sleeping like a boss?
Yeah.
No screens, physically energized body. What would you see in your life to tell you, heck, man, I've just fulfilled on that intention?
Well, what's interesting is the things I'd see are the work things that made more sense for me to write down. So I'd have my personal brand nailed. I'd have my social media campaign engine running. I'd be speaking on stages around the world, and my business would be rapidly speeding up, which is what it deserves to do.
Right. And awesome. And how do you feel now that's happening?
Yeah, like victorious, like it was all worth it. You know,
Right.
I'm right at the cusp of launching, and there's a part of me that's like, can we just lie down for a minute? before we climb the mountain. So psychologically it's all very fascinating. But I'm ready to I'd become a global conversation. That's what would happen.
Got it. And I'm sure so many lives would be improved. So
Yep.
let's just, and I encourage everybody to pull this towards them. The things that you want, they've already happened. We just need the energy to match that set of choices. So that's the future fulfilled. It's already happened. If we can see it, if we can get the feels from it, then we can move towards it. So, well, that's 10 minutes. Perfect timing. Okay. Now, but can everyone just feel the wind right now? Can everyone show me hand if they can see that and they feel the wind? All right. So 10 minutes has just clicked over. I just want everyone to sit up in their chair. And I want you to breathe in, but look up as you breathe in. And notice how you can breathe in a bit more when you look up. And then when you breathe out, look down. And let's just take 3 breaths looking up, raising your nose. And then look down. And on the last one, all the way in, and hold. Last one, in, and hold, and just wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Wriggle the shoulders, wriggle the shoulders, wriggle, 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 and then let it out with a bit of a sigh. Oh. Okay. So I've just started the clock again. Now, underneath this pyramid that you want, I want you to extend that little triangle to a bigger pyramid. Okay, so with the pyramid the triangle that's on your page, I want you to make it bigger so it's a larger pyramid. Okay, you got that? So everyone's got that on their piece of paper. That triangle is now part of a bigger pyramid. Now, what we've just discussed is what everybody discusses, the top of the pyramid, what you want to do and how you want to do it, and all these sorts of things. Everyone's trying to wring the life out of their daytime hours. But in this presentation, I want to bring you awareness around the bottom of the pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid is your rest, recovery, and healing art forms. That's the thing that nobody sees, nobody gives you an accolade about, but it's got everything to do with the top of the pyramid. So at the bottom of the pyramid, put rest, recovery, healing art forms. So this is the part of the pyramid nobody sees about you. You can't show it off down the street, but it actually shows up in everything that we do. And I want you to presence you to this. Imagine, let's just look at this in dollar values. The 3 things that you've got at the top of your pyramid, add those numbers up. So let's say that's $1,000. I'm just as a rough number. Imagine if your rest, recovery, and healing was, let's just say you're 20% sleep deprived. How much would you, as a person being 20% sleep deprived, impact financially on those dollars? And don't do it for me, do this for you, okay? All the things that you want to achieve, picture yourself 20% sleep deprived. Or somebody that's in your employment, say they're 20% sleep deprived. And to make the point, imagine if you were 50% sleep deprived. How would that affect the numbers? How would that affect the numbers of your staff? So I want you to get the gravity of this pyramid, the part of the pyramid that nobody sees, and I don't know too many people talking about it. A lot of people talk about sleep, but not many people actually give real-time tools that they can access literally tonight. Okay? So little thing we used to do in the special forces was attack our enemy's sleep, because we knew that if we could deny them sleep for 3 nights, it would mess them up better than a bullet. That's how powerful sleep is. And I want to answer a question right now before someone asks it. So what makes a good night's sleep? Is it the amount of time that you sleep? Is it the duration of your deep sleep cycles? From my experience and the experience of many others, a good night's sleep by definition is one you wake up from actually feeling good, actually feeling refreshed, feeling recharged. That's what good sleep is. It's a charge point for your whole body. And so what would happen if you never charged your phone? Well, it wouldn't just go flat, but before it goes flat, it goes into that power saving mode. Well, unfortunately, us humans, we tend to be in this power saving mode without knowing it, because a lot of people are in it, and there's a lot of money to be made by us being in a state of fatigue. Here, buy a coffee. Here, buy an energy drink. And people that are in these fatigue states are very suggestible. So let's bring this to ourselves. I won't ask anyone to volunteer this situation, but on your piece of paper, the question for everybody to write down is, how many times in the last fortnight have you woke up in the morning feeling good, feeling refreshed, feeling recharged? Write that down as a number. And if it helps and you want to write down how many times you felt like crap waking up, you can write that down too, because we can lever both. And so with those real numbers, and these numbers are real, how do you think that is impacting on your goals for 2026? Now, it was very clear in Rory's case because he actually wanted to work on the quality of his sleep. Can you see, or what if you increase the number of quality sleep nights and woke up feeling good in the fortnight? How much of an impact would that have on your 2026 goals? And the invitation is to make it tangible. Okay. It's one thing to go, she'll be right, mate. But if you can see that, if we are increasing the amount of good night sleep that we have in every fortnight, our sleep is worth $1 value. And often people don't start paying attention to this because us humans, we tend to be able to push ourselves past a point of fatigue and think it's normal. But I do want to draw everyone's attention to some productivity at work facts as drawn from the 2018 Economic Cost of Inadequate Sleep paper and the Sleep Health Foundation and the Deloitte report. Okay, here's the fun facts about poor sleep. And everyone kind of knows this, but it's amazing when you hear the stats. You have reduced cognitive performance. Everybody knows this, but poor memory, slower decision-making, and diminished focus. And here's one that when I work with corporates, they really grab hold of. Sleep-deprived employees take nearly twice as many sick days as healthy sleepers. Think of that for a second. Twice as many sick days. Now, there's a reason why sleep-poor people take twice as many sick days. I'll go into that in a second, but it's not just absenteeism, it's presenteeism. Being physically present but mentally unfocused can lower a person's output by 20 to 30%. Okay, so think of that, a loss of productivity by 20 or 30%. So if a worker's earning 60 grand a year, lost productivity would cost their employee between 6 and 12 grand a year. And for everyone listening, entrepreneurs, that could mean stunted growth, missed opportunities, those opportunities that come past and you miss because you're not cognizantly there. And then sleep has this thing of affecting more than just work. There's emotional strain. Poor sleep heightens irritability, reduces emotional resilience. And quality time is really hard when you're exhausted. Conflict escalation at work and at the home place. Now, I'm going to speak to the health costs of poor sleep because it does lead to more illness and increasing medical bills. Here's not a fun fact, but sleep poor people have 200 to 300% more likelihood of mental illness. 200 to 300% increase in mental illness. So when I started creating programs that improved quality of sleep, these veterans and their metrics were going up the charts. The psychologists couldn't understand. But when we sleep properly, we can heal ourselves. When we're not sleeping properly, things just get worse and worse. But it also increases risks of diabetes, heart disease, depression. A lot of these things people take for granted. So this is why I just wanted to sort of presence everybody here the elephant in the room that nobody's talking about, and it's actually very easy to solve because it's really hard to grow the seeds of greatness in poison soil, and sleep is the soil from which everything grows. So what we're going to do now before we go into the next session is I'm going to show you a breathwork technique that's going to really give your mind and body a bit of clarity. So I want everyone to can everyone see my nose? Okay, behind my nose we have sinuses, and we're going to double the speed of the inhale as we look up. And as we look up, I want you to pinch your fingers together. So we're going to be looking up and breathing in really rapidly as we pinch our fingers together. Now that's going to do a few things. We can draw rapid air over our sinuses and oxygenate our brains. Now that was a little trick my coach used to teach me before I did a combination. He'd say, always do a big snort and then do your combination because that oxygenates the brain. Now, I don't know if that's based in science, but it worked in combat, and I'm going to share it with you now. So with your fingers ready to pinch, I want you to start with your exhale, blow it out, blow it out, blow it out, blow it out, and then pinch your fingers, look up, breathe in, and hold it and just wriggle it around, wriggle, 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 and then let it out with a nice sigh. Just let that energy go through you, okay? We're going to do that 2 more times, and each time it's going to be a deeper experience. So I invite you to exhale, blow it out, blow it out, blow it out. Get your fingers ready. Rapid inhale, breathe, look at the ceiling, through the nose, hold it, wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. The more you wriggle, the better it's going to be. Move your arms, wriggle your arms, wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. And when you can't stop it, let it out a really big ah. Nice. And again, this is your energy. Just give it permission to do what it's supposed to do. It will bring about balance. Now, this last one, no matter how many times I've breathed, it's always a deeper experience. Okay, so allow yourself to go deeper on this one. So we can do exactly what we did and let it out with a nice big sigh. So blow it out, shake it out. Blow it out, 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 out. And then pinch your fingers, look to the ceiling. Open, 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 open. Hold it, wriggle it, wriggle it, wriggle out any blockages, push out any stuck energy, push it out, push it out, push it out, push it out, and then let it out with a I invite you to give your jaw a bit of a shake. Nice work. How's everyone feeling? Okay, so that little breathwork technique I call the breath of possibility, because when something feels impossible for me, watch what happens to my shoulders. I end up start hunching over. Okay, and I'm not just when I'm hunching over, I'm collapsing my lungs. Less oxygen, less energy, less options. But I need to presence everybody here too, especially because we're all sort of sitting and a little hunched over. When we hunch over, our body's electrics They're like, think of your body, your brain like an electrical generator, and the nerves are like electrical cables, but they're soft and squishy. They're soft and squishy like a garden hose, you know, and if you step on your garden hose, there's less water going through, so there's less electricity going through. So when we hunch over, we are literally stepping on the garden hose of our own energy supply. Has everyone got that? So when we breathe in, we're not just breathing in and getting more oxygen, we're getting more energy because we're in alignment. All our energy cables aren't stepped on. And what they found when I worked with the British Special Forces is every degree you're out of alignment, your strength drops between 8 and 12%. So think of it like this. If you and I can carry 100 kilos on our shoulders as a maximum, if we lose our structure by 1%, we can only carry 88 to 92 kilos. So I think of it like this. Every time I breathe in and look up, I'm increasing my strength between 8 and 12% because my structure's in line. I'm not stepping on my own energy systems. Does the gravity of that land for everybody? Just give me a thumbs up if that lands. Think of this. If all you had to do was take a deep breath in and look up and align yourself to get 8 to 10% stronger, that's a powerful bit of kit to have. Now, beyond the physical realignment, I call it the breath of possibility because when I snort through my nose, if I've got any crap in my head that's bothering me, I pretend that I'm sucking it out the back of my head. Okay, so if I'm walking down the street and something's pissed me off, okay, I won't waste energy out there. I'll pinch my fingers together discreetly and bring myself back to center. Because if we don't operate from that sovereign zone, we end up giving the best of our energy away. Things that piss us off, it's like extra gravel in the backpack. So if we can maintain that sovereign zone with our breath, so I encourage everybody, as you kick around the place, have that breath of possibility as a take-home toolkit, okay? And practice it whenever you need it, because trust me when I say, when there's crap in your head you don't want, and you can get your sovereignty back in a breath, all of a sudden life occurs very differently. You don't just have one moment that then turns into 2 bad moments and then 3 bad moments, and before you know it, honey, it's been a terrible day and kick the dog. So that little breath of possibility, that is an absolute keeper. Now, being that everybody here we're on online business owners, right? Now, who here has felt fatigued after looking at a screen all day? Okay. All right. I'm about to double your productivity right now with this one hack. Okay. So whatever timeline this is, if you have anyone that's online and they want to jump to this section, timestamp this mark. So what I'm going to show you how to double your productivity online, also double the amount of time you can drive. So I've shown this to truck drivers. I've shown this particular technique to school teachers, marking exams, etc. So, and it always amazes me, we all own bodies, but we really don't know what they do. Now our eyes, the ones that look at the screen, they're a muscle group. And what happens if I tense this muscle group in my hand, it'll eventually go white, the blood will leave it. Now I'll think that I'm squeezing really hard, but my strength is dipping. Now, our eyes, when they get fatigued, do you see how close they are to my brain? When they're fatigued, they send a signal to my brain saying, we're tired, we're tired, we're tired, and your body responds in kind. What if there was a way to change the signal in your eyes to send a very different signal into the brain? And you can actually, if this is maintained through the day, you can give the best of you to your loved ones and not to the screen. So I'm going to explain it like this. Your eyes, they sit in these bony sockets. I just invite you to get your fingers and feel those bony sockets around your eyes, right? Okay, everyone's got those bony sockets. Now, in these sockets, it's not a muscle group, but there are these little rivets or divots that once you find, you can release and let the blood flow in. A bit like the hand that's been hanging on too long, you can let it out, let the blood flow in, and then tighten it back up and keep working. So this one here with the very tips of your thumbs, and I mean the tips of your thumbs, not the flats, but the tips, almost like the fingernails. I invite you just to dig them in about here and feel around, and you'll feel like some little gutters or divots. Okay. Often they can feel a bit owy. That's okay. That's just because you haven't given them any love. So I invite you to get in there and just do little circles with the very tips of your fingers. Little circles, little circles. Okay, it'll go from owie to itchy to ooey. Remember to breathe. Okay, nice work. So there's those little divots. Now there's 5 sets of these around your eyes. So the next point I want you to do is with your fingers, run it out to about here. It's about 2/3 out, and it's slightly on the inside. And you'll feel these divots about 2/3 out. And like I said, it's kind of on the inside. It's not on the outside. You have to go up and under, and you'll feel these little divots. Just go back and forth on the divots. Sometimes they're quite owy, but trust me when I say it's because you haven't given them any love. They've been hanging on for too long. All right. So rub those little divots, rub it back and forth, rub it back and forth. It'll go from owie to itchy to ooey. Deep breaths. Nice work. Now the third set, this is where we get our fingertips and we put them right in the crack here. A little bit on the inside, and we feel for those little divots on the inside there. And just do little circles, rub back and forth, rub back and forth. Little circles, little circles. It'll go from owie to itchy to ooey. You guys are doing really good. Now the fourth one is about 1/3 in, and it's almost like you're trying to do a chin up on from your fingers on the socket, eye socket. So it's about 1/3 in, and you'll feel a little divot. Sometimes these can be quite pronounced. Okay, so feel that little divot and just go back and forth, because that group of nerves and muscles, it'll feel like a guitar string, but they're the ones that if we can massage, we're not going to be sending a signal that we're tired from our eyes into our brain. And going into about the middle now, about the 6 o'clock position, these can be quite pronounced. These can be quite calcified. So just rub, rub, rub on those bottom ones. Very good. Now, just with your fingers, do circles and rub all of the points and just do circles with your fingertips. Okay, so you're pushing blood into an area that was just rigid from tension. Okay, and once you start rubbing, sometimes it's hard to stop because you're unlocking all that tension that's been there for years. All right, nice work. Now, for those of you who did that, just take a minute to just feel your eyes for a second. If anyone wants to share, what's the sensation they're feeling around their eye sockets right now?
Well, interestingly, Tim, I can see a bit better. So, I'm a little bit, well, when I say a little bit, long-sighted, so I can't sort of see stuff so well up close, and particularly my screens. I notice they're actually in focus at the moment.
What you're talking about there, Nick, is a very common effect of this because the presence of blood is a good thing for our body. The absence of blood, that's usually where bad things happen. And when we're looking at screens or looking at the road for extended periods, we're squeezing the blood out of those points. So it often increases our quality of vision, but it often starts making the body go, oh, you know what? I'm not tired. It was just my eyes. And so so what I did with my IT teams is set the timer for 30 minutes, and all they did was stop, stand up, do their eyes, and their productivity kept on going up during the day, as opposed to we're hanging on, we're losing blood, we're sending that signal saying we're tired, we've got to have more coffee, we've got to have more sugar, okay, we've got to, look for all these external sources of strength. So if you can be the people that go internally for your source of strength, you're already ahead of the game. And I kid you not, it doubles your productivity because you're no longer subject to, oh my gosh, my eyes are telling me I'm tired, so I think I'm tired, so I need extra coffee, energy drinks, etc. All right. And my encouragement is if you are doing this driving, you have one hand on the steering wheel, one hand doing one eye, and then the other hand. And if you're coming home from the office, do that on the steering wheel, because that will then allow you to reset your system so you can give the best of you to your loved ones. Now, I really wanted to give you some really, I call them my, the sample treats that are out the front of a restaurant. You get to sample stuff. There's a whole buffet of offerings available, and I created the buffet after I did a workshop at Enogra here in Brisbane. And the next day, Louis Colonel approached me saying, Tim, I had my soldiers coming up to me saying they hadn't slept in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And after one session with you, they had a good night's sleep. And he thought it was awesome, but I thought it was terrible. How much impact is 3 to 5 years of poor sleep? Well, what he said next rocked me. He said, well, it was good when you were there, but what have you got when you're not there? And I realized I wasn't permanent. If I care about somebody, I have to give them something to use the next day, the next week, the next year. So for the last few years, I created something that anyone can access, and it's called the Breathwork in Bed app. Now, there's a 28-day free period, okay, to see if this is a fit for you. And if you stick around to the end, you will get a 12-month subscription. But imagine for a second your sleep hygiene. If you wanted to destroy someone, you'd attack them as they're going to sleep. And as they're getting out of bed, if you could attack them then, you'd wreck their day. But imagine if you had something there guiding your breath to give you the best night's sleep, to give you the deepest sleep cycles, to have you waking up feeling refreshed. And then when you wake up, you've got a little notification there to connect with your breath, connect with your energy, so your feet are hitting the floor in a very different way. So that's my effort to make my work permanent, is the Breathwork in Bed app. And, smartphone, Android, you can look it up on there. I'll let you do that one. But that is, for me, I can't do what you do, but if I can improve the quality of your sleep, and this is immediate. You can literally turn your bed into a cloud tonight. And for those people who want a 2026 with a year unaffected by sleep deprivation, this is a very easy option to access from your phone, in your bed. And I can say now that it is your best friend at 2 a.m. when you wake up and you've got the thoughts kicking over. So I really hope, and today you've got the breath of possibility, you've got those eye exercises with the timer, regardless of the product that I'm offering. If you take those 3 things away, your 2026, those things that you want to achieve, you're in a much better position, because there's the version of you that can self-regenerate, that's aware of the bottom of that performance pyramid. And then there's the you that goes, well, I've just got to keep flogging myself until I achieve, those outcomes. Nick, how are we going for time?
We are doing pretty well. It's 8 minutes to wrap up. So, time for questions, answers, whatever you want to do, Tim.
Well, if I'm more than happy to answer whatever questions people want, or they want to share the experience that they had from this evening, that's fine too.
So any raised hands, or just come off the
Yep, David.
microphone, off mute. So any sort of comments, see the possibilities, or any sort of questions there for Tim?
Well, everything's won and lost. Everything is won and lost, like you say, from your brain. So the massaging the eyes, which is the signals, right? So you feel tired, so then you think incorrectly. So, like they say, keep those thoughts captive. But all of those processes, and even doing that exercise, even though I have got a blood thing that popped the other day, but so I didn't get too carried away. But amazing, because we don't do that. Just that basic sort of massaging those areas. Like we might rub behind our necks and do, or get our wives or whatever. But who massages the eyes? Like this is a first,
Yeah, you've
right?
had those eyes your whole life, David. Your
Yeah.
whole life, and you didn't know how amazing they were. And one of the reasons why people don't know about this sort of stuff is because it's free, right? And
Yeah.
there's more money to be made with you not knowing how awesome you were made. So
Yes.
my vision is everybody to actually to see how wonderfully we were made and to access it. Okay, and everyone's got their way to help people access their own wonderfulness. My calling is for people to access it through their own bodies.
Yeah.
And I could really see that you were picking up what was getting put down, and you're like, oh my gosh. So, I can see from this day forward, David. Oh, by the way, anyone with kids, if you know anyone with kids, I use this technique to put my boy to sleep.
Oh, wow. Get them
Little
into
kids, if you just massage those points, they just go boom. All
Yeah.
right. So those little restless kids, if you can do those little massage points, they'll just go boom. So that's a little hot tip for anyone with young kids.
Yeah. So when you think of the average person, they come home, they feel tense and strained and stressed and everything else, straight for the fridge for a beer, wine, whatever. And pink, it goes the opposite, doesn't it?
Yeah. If we don't find the solution inside ourselves, we look outside ourselves. And the consumer society we're in likes it like that. Because you're exactly right, David. When I couldn't maintain my sovereign zone with my breath and relieving my fatigue, I didn't know why. I just had to drink half a carton of grog at the end of the day
Yeah.
because I was out of balance.
Mm.
So if we can be the ones that can create the balance, maintain the balance, restore our balance, because we all get knocked off center, but if we can be the ones to bring ourselves back to sovereignty, then, life occurs very differently. So I can see that you really got that, Dave, and it brings me a lot of joy to know that you're going to be integrating that with yourself and your loved ones, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 100%. And like I say, because I'm in the world of people on that transition mode, a lot of people that we work with are very stressed and all of that before they come to sell, or they got to the point where they've run out of energy, run out of everything. So there's a lot of psychological part. But God, when you look at that part, that's very simple just to get them back into a better state, just in the first part.
Dave, if you could take them through that little breath of possibility, you'll just chemically override the stress.
Mm.
And a lot of people that I work with, well, the organizations that work healing people, they'll often say, we're going to use the Breathwork in Bed app. The part of interacting with us is you've got to do the Breathwork in Bed app for a week or two beforehand. So when they come to them, they've got energy capital to work with, as opposed to them turning up completely fatigued. So it's often a prescribed impact. So people are turning up not stressed out and fatigued, because you're working with shit then. You want to work with clay,
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
So thank you so much for sharing, Dave. Is there anyone else that, whether it worked, it didn't work, something that they'd like to take with? I can see in the comments that I'm just, Jody, great name, that's my daughter's name. I'm just wrapped with what we've learnt tonight. Thank you. Rory says, Tim, you have an amazing gift for helping people reconnect to their breath and body in an increasingly disconnected world. Thank you for your kind words, Rory. And Paul said, that's good.
Fabulous. Well, I think this has been a sensational session because most of the stuff that we do on this show here is all about tech tools, techniques, and all that sort of stuff. This one here is, I think, the missing link that often we don't even think about or don't focus on, Dawn.
And nobody does. We've got an accepted culture of poor sleep, and our society supports poor sleep with products that support that bad habit. But Jody just asked a really good question. A technique for people that have trouble sleeping because of back pain. Okay, I'm a chronic back pain person, okay, working in the army, carrying heavy stuff. And the reason I got into breath work, Jody, is because breath work is anti-inflammation. Okay, and if you want one that specifically targets lower back, there are tracks on the Breathwork in Bed app. The one that's called, I'd write this one down, Rest and Unwind. It's just a pretty basic one, but that one's specifically to create the chemicals needed to put yourself in a state where the pain is greatly reduced. Because I got into breath work for pain relief because I just noticed it kept on getting better, getting better. I don't prescribe people get off their pills, but I got off all my pills with breath work.
And that app that you talked about, Breathwork in Bed, there's a free trial of that.
Yeah, 28 days you can trial it. I mean, obviously, all apps you got to go through a paywall, but you won't get charged for 28 days. If you choose to cancel, you can. But like I said, the genius of the app is it just falls out of your phone when you want it to. All you got to do with this app is tell it when you want to sleep, when you want to wake up, and then it just falls out of your phone. Because people that are busy and tired, they don't want to have to do something extra. They just want to go, here's what I want, boom, touch a button, done. And so I'm kind of the Uber Eats of breath work for sleep. And busy people like yourself, they just want something where you can go tap, tap. And that's why I did the work for people just to have that ease of access.
Excellent. Those links are in chat as well. So Google Play Store and Apple Store, if you want to grab those and download them, they are in the chat. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. Well, I think, unless there's anything else, that's our session for today, apart from drawing the door prize for tonight.
2 door prizes.
So 2 door prizes tonight. So tell us what the door prizes are, Tim.
Well, standing over there with a lovely Nick is, no, I've got a copy of my book, okay, Fight, Flight, Feel. What if something already inside of you could change everything outside of you? That something was discovered by an Australian Special Forces soldier with 5 minutes left to live. So that's the book. And the other one is a 12-month subscription of the Breathwork in Bed app. How much is 12 months of quality sleep worth to you, my friends? Well, you could probably work out how much 12 months of poor quality sleep is costing. But that is just my gift to whoever is the lucky door prize. I guess we're going to have to spin that wheel twice as exciting, Nick.
We will have 2 spins of the wheel. So let's bring up the lucky wheel there. Do not leave the room. Stay in the room. Because you need to be here to win. So everybody's name is in the wheel. So let's hit that spin button and send it round. And there it goes. It's off and running. Virtual drum roll on your desk in front of you, on your legs. The lucky winner is 2nd week in a row, Donelda. How are you?
Is Donelda in the house?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Fabulous. You've taken over the run from David there, so with the door prize.
All right.
All right. So what are we going to do? Which one?
So she gets to choose. She can have the book, or she can have the 12-month subscription to the Breathwork in Bed app.
What was the book again? Sorry.
The book was called Fight, Flight, Feel.
I think I'll do the app, please.
Okay, no problem. So once you get in, sign up, then give Nick your sign-in details, and I'll get my tech team to gift you that 12-month subscription.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries.
Fabulous. Excellent. We'll organise that in email tomorrow. All
Thanks,
right,
Nick.
and we've got one more spin of the wheel. For this time, it is the book. So let's spin the wheel again. And away it goes. Fingers crossed. It's just past David Fisher there. Enza Lyons. How are you, Enza? Are you still in the room?
Yes, I'm still here.
Fabulous. Excellent.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
you are the lucky winner of the book.
Now, Nick, I've just put something in the chat, a little free gift. This is my audio book. Okay, it's different to this one, but that's my audio book. So you can click on that one, download it, listen it to on the drive, and that gives you that's actually got some guided breath work in there as well. So it's a larger file, give it 10 seconds to download, but that's just a gift for everyone who's attending at the end. You can click on that one and listen to the Breathwork in Bed backstory.
Fabulous. Excellent. Well, let's give Tim a huge round of applause for sharing his brilliance with us tonight and his findings tonight. So I really appreciate that. Perfect way to end our sessions this year. In fact, we should probably start with you next year, so we start on an absolute high rather than just ending on a high. So that is our session for this year. Remember to save the chat. If you're not sure how to save the chat, there are 3 little dots on the top right-hand side when you open the chat. That will give you the link to the book, to the app, all the apps and tools that we had there tonight as well too. And we will... and if you want to see this again, especially the exercise with the eyes, this will be up in the Smash Go YouTube channel tomorrow. So check back tomorrow afternoon. In fact, if you go to YouTube, the link is in chat as well too. Subscribe to the channel. And when you hit the little bell after you've subscribed, you'll get a notification as soon as it's uploaded. If you know anyone else that you think would benefit from this or would like some more sleep, then send them along there as well too. So wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy the break. And
I think
look forward to
Rory
seeing you
wanted
back.
to... Is Rory...
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Look, I just want to take a quick moment to say a very big thank you to Tim for coming along today and sharing your genius. But specifically, I want to acknowledge you, Nick.
Thank you.
And your magnificent shirts. I want to acknowledge you for digging deep every week, for finding fascinating technologies to share with us and introducing us to great speakers. I want to acknowledge you for all the effort that we have no idea that you put in, week out, to bring us your special, smiling, generous, informative gift. So thank you for another amazing year. I really appreciate you. I'm looking forward to next year. And I think I speak on behalf of many other people. We really appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yes, thank you. And it is a show that I enjoy doing, and sometimes it is hard, but overall I really enjoy it. So I love it, and thank you everyone for showing up as well too. We will be back mid-January. Keep an eye on your emails. We'll send you out an email to let you know. So first session will be about the 3rd week in January, but keep an eye on your emails. Have a great Christmas. Enjoy the new year.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Nick.
And thank you very much, Nick. Well appreciated. You put in the hard yards, and we understand there's a lot of work behind the scenes. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Merry
Tim.
Christmas,
Thanks, Nick.
everyone.
Thanks,
You're
everyone.
welcome to come
Take it
on
easy.
Friday
That's
too.
tiny.
See you in January.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nickcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.